All right, this is the second week of the show, everybody. Brian Higgins here. Jordan will be on for a second. I don't know if anyone can hear me right now. Apparently, YouTube worldwide is imploding. So last week, Jordan, let's bring in Jordan. Last week, Jordan started the show by breaking his camera 4 seconds into the show. This week we've broken YouTube. So here we are, Jordan. I don't know if anyone can see us right now, but we're here. We're doing our thing. Well, welcome back. It's the 315. We got Jordan here. This is our new time, 8 o'clock on Wednesdays, and maybe anybody can see us right now, which would be great.
I'm aggressively pressing retry right now. I'm pressing retry
It's
over and over on this stream, Brian.
It's streaming. I have a lot of things up. It's streaming on my phone right now. Whoop, that's the music. Mute that. We don't need to play the music for the people. Yeah, it's on my computer. So
let's go. I got it.
So
you just have to keep pressing retry until
yeah,
it finally lets you in.
Keep trying, people. Keep trying. Okay. Ryan Mullen says he sees us. I'm gonna type in the chat. Everyone, keep refreshing. We're there. I promise. Okay, so that. Man, we have dynamic starts to shows. All right, so we got a lot going on here. We were wondering, Jordan, we initially thought, we were worried earlier today you might miss the beginning of the show because you would have been waiting on a Walmart grocery delivery. You got that on time, so YouTube's just like, well, screw you guys. You've got another food experience for us. We may try to name the show. We'll talk some football and basketball, and we'll see where it goes. Where do you want to start? What's you want to tease us on your food experience? You said it can be done in stages. I don't quite know what's going on. You had the buffalo chicken wing dip last week. This week, I don't know what you're doing.
First of all, hello everybody. I'm just looking at the chat, but Vegas Home Loan Hub. If I ever need a home loan, I got it. What's up, Forever Orange Girl? Just keep pressing retry. Lucas, Jen, Ryan, SU Talk, JR Brown. Good to see you again. I'm going to say your YouTube name, even if I know who you really are. We won't use government names on the stream just yet. So the chicken wing dip was a success.
San Diego Q's?
Yeah, fine. The chicken wing dip was a success.
Okay.
I'm not cooking this week, but we do have another potluck at the old grid coming up on Halloween. So I'm figuring out what else I can make.
How many potlucks do you have? I mean, you've been working there like 3 weeks. You're doing a potluck like every other week. This is aggressive.
So side tangent, and I promise, like I watched pit tape. I have thoughts on basketball. Like we're down to get into sports, but side tangent.
I
had a meeting the first week I was there, and when they were going around, it was that point in the meeting where everybody just shuts up so that you can leave the meeting. And this one girl's like, why don't we do more fun things? And I was just like, oh no. Like, so now we have a committee of fun.
This is my first meeting. How about we do less fun things?
Oh, yeah, so we have a committee of fun and we have a potluck on Halloween. For today, I'm not cooking.
Okay. Have you assembled something? You're unveiling something?
Have you ever had kombucha, Brian?
I'm aware. There's a fermentation process. I think I'm aware of it. I've never actually. I've never indulged. It's supposed to be good for you, antioxidants. I think, and the whole deal.
The thing about kombucha, it doesn't actually taste good. I have 3 delicious varieties of kombucha that I'm going to sample today.
All right,
so just to let the people know.
All right, so Jordan has 3 drinks that he knows will taste bad.
Pineapple peach.
Okay. Which, if it wasn't kombucha, sounds delightful.
Tart cherry.
I like cherries. Yeah, I don't know about that.
Raspberry lemon.
I mean, lemon raspberry is as classic a flavor combo you can get in the fruit world. I just normally go there with dessert selections, not antioxidant healthy beverages selections.
Yeah, so no free promo. I'm in collections, somebody asked, and I don't know if there's an Angela. So how about this, Brian? I've gone on too much of a rant already. I'm going to try one of these. Do you have one you're particularly interested in? I'm going to try one while you
start with the I want to start you with the one that I think is going to be the worst. So
I think that's the tart cherry all day, right?
Yeah, 100%, because I'd like for your experience to improve throughout the show. Right. And the tart cherry, based on my understanding of what kombucha is, which could be faulty, The tartness I feel could slap you around a little bit here, but again, I've never kombucha'd. Ooh, that Kevin says, why don't you just drink vinegar?
Pretty much.
Are people still doing that? Remember, it was like 5, 10 years ago. People were just taking shots of apple cider
Oh yeah,
vinegar.
apple cider vinegar.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
I
were
mean
just
that's basically
shooting
what
it.
we're doing.
Yeah. All right, so Jordan's going in. This is a tart cherry kombucha. He sniffed it. He looked appalled. He's not aggressive.
Thought it would be worse.
Wow. So tastes better than smell.
I could finish this whole thing.
Wow. That was
So this is disappointing. Sorry, chat.
That's both disappointing but an exciting twist to perhaps your future health benefits. It could lead to a long and healthy life, your new love of kombucha.
Stay tuned for pineapple peach.
Okay. Which we thought would be better, but now based on what has happened already, we could be drastically wrong on any of our assessments. Jordan's going back in. He's going right back. Wow.
I didn't give it a rating.
Okay. Rate the kombucha. The kombucha scale, your first ever kombucha rating.
Yeah, is this the kombucha scale or the normal drink scale?
Give me one of each. Give me normal drink scale and kombucha scale.
It's cold. It's so that's good. Kombucha scale. Thinking it's gonna be bad. I'm gonna go 8.2.
Okay.
Drink scale. I'm gonna go like 5.8.
I mean, that's quaffable. That's I mean, all right, here. Let's rate it on this. That kombucha versus a standard glass of water. You're not a huge water guy. You do have it there though.
I've been drinking a lot of water lately.
Right.
I don't know. About even. Depends what you're looking for.
Okay. Jordan is not a drink water for the flavor guy. Okay, so there we are. We'll get back to Jordan's kombucha rankings as the show goes along. YouTube seems to be working at the moment. There's like worldwide YouTube outages. People are trying to sabotage our program here. All right, I suppose we should talk a little sports here. I do want to. I don't know if we'll do this before the end of the show. I'll come to an agreement, but I've decided we should probably have a name for the show. Maybe. I have some potentially terrible thoughts. They might be electric. We'll table that for later on. If anybody else in the chat has an idea for a name for the show, let them fly throughout, and you can enter yourself into the sweepstakes of just knowing you've played some part in it. There will be no prizes, except you may get the name of the show. Football or basketball, Jordan? Where do you want to start today?
I'm going to submit Higgins and Capozzi, first of all.
Okay.
I think that's a great name for a show.
The basics? Just go with the basics? All right. Those names are on the screen right now. Both of our names are on the screen, so we do have that covered at the Ryan Mullen, the cast-offs. Yeah, maybe. Jordan cast himself off, though, so I don't know if that quite...
Yeah.
That maybe doesn't quite describe the situation accurately.
So today was basketball media day. I feel like we could start basketball, but it hasn't started yet, and there's not really new information yet. I kind of want to start football because I've been talking about it at the office. I watched Heinschel. I watched some tape. Is that how you say it? I was very surprised by Heinschel. Like that N is aggressive in there.
I think so. I feel decently certain that's what it is.
So I want to start there, if I may, and I'm going to try to stay away from Ricky Steve stuff as much. Before we get to Pitt, and I'm sure you've answered this in some capacity, but I haven't seen it. May I give you my thoughts on the Fran Brown response to Javon's question, which I'm glad Javon's out there grinding, asking those questions because – somebody's got to ask them, and let's be real, it's normally somebody from .com.
Because, the Penn State coach had been fired less than 24 hours before that. Like, it was, whether Fran wanted it to be or not, it was news.
So I never at any point after that Franklin news came out thought there was a chance Fran would take that job, would get that job, etc. And it was contrary to people I was speaking to. I've got my little group chat of guys who we all used to work together, and they were all like, convince me why I shouldn't be nervous. And I was like, there's no way. After I heard that answer, I was less confident. And here's why. and this doesn't mean I think he's going to get offered the job, but do you remember that interview he did with one Stephen Fonte where he was like, Nick Saban and Alabama are together for life, Kirby Smart and Georgia are together for life, like y'all got me, basically? That answer he gave to Javon's question, that wasn't from the same,
Right.
from the same mindset. It didn't sound like I'm here forever no matter what. It was more like, don't ask me that question. I didn't love it personally.
Yeah, I find, it's one where he has to walk into the room knowing that's coming. Like, he has to walk into the room knowing he's about to have two conversations, and he clearly wanted to have neither of them. And A was about Ricky Collins, who I don't know if anyone has heard is his starting quarterback, and B is about, and nobody in that room said the words Penn State. Nobody said Penn State out loud, but everyone's big boys in there. We know what we're talking about. That I'm with you, Jordan. I don't think he is going to be the Penn State coach next year. But and this is the way I've approached this. If I'm to take Fran at his word, and taking football coaches at their word is a dangerous process, then Penn State is the only better job based on his supposed qualifications for a job, Northeast, big time football, wants to win a championship, whatever, that he could take and still be doing the same exact thing that he said he could be doing. There's literally one. Penn State, I mean, as much as we hate to admit it, Penn State's the biggest job in the Northeast. There's not really a close second. You're not going to leave Syracuse for any of the other jobs in the Northeast, realistically, if you're Fran, unless you went to Rutgers or something. But that, like, are you really going to go and just get kicked around in the Big Ten? I don't think it's, if this had happened a year or two from now and there was a different circumstance, maybe it could happen, and then we should really be worried. I don't think so, but Penn State, in theory, would be the one school that he could leave for, get the bag, and be like, well, I'm still doing what I said. Now, that said, he may leave this offseason and go to freaking Starkville, Mississippi or something, or go to Auburn, or I don't know where, take some random SEC job and make a ton of money, and then everything he said was bogus. And then that's a different conversation. But Penn State, I'd say big picture, would be a school I'd be worried about if he is 100% committed to the Northeast thing.
Things happen in threes, Brian. Kayla Trainer, Trevor Pena, Fran Brown. People getting paid to go to Penn State from Syracuse. Yeah, you didn't think you were getting a Kayla Trainer mention on this.
No, I think I sent you this the other day, because conspiracy theories are much more fun than actual theories. The favorite to get the Penn State job right now is Penn State alum Matt Rule, who is currently the Nebraska coach.
And then Cignetti, who, like, if he left, I would be baffled. Just baffled. Yeah, personally.
Cignetti's wild, man. Indiana's good at football. What a time we're living in right now. But if Matt Rule, like, this was all right, I'm going to concoct a scenario in which somehow Penn State gets intrigued by the idea of Fran Brown. So they bring in Matt Rule for an interview. Penn State alum, everyone's like, oh yeah, this would make a lot of sense. Well, who was the guy that Fran Brown worked for at Temple and at Baylor? Matt Rule. They've got obviously a good relationship. So say Matt goes into the interview and it's like, hey guys, I appreciate it, but we've got it moving at Nebraska. I don't want to whatever. But I had this guy back in the day that was on my staff, and you really got to give him a look. So, I figure it's my duty, Jordan, to freak everybody out with these thoughts that probably aren't going to happen, but, stupider things happened, like how Fran got this job in the first place, just calling the AD up out of the blue, and it worked.
Now, there's no chance he'd, like, if Rule got the job and, say he was like, Fran, come be my DC. No. Zero chance. Okay.
No.
I didn't think so, but I had to throw that out there.
No. What's up, Gavendo?
What's up, Gavendo? Yeah. No, I agree. No, and I don't think he's going to leave. I don't think he's going to leave. I understand that college football coaches by trade are used car salesmen. And from what everybody's told us, Fran has broken the mold. Now, I did look more at that Marcellus Barnes Instagram post that everybody was liking. And if some of the players actually scrolled through those posts, maybe they're starting to disagree. But I have no reason to believe that anything Fran says isn't legit. And for that reason, I can't see him leaving. And also, like, if he leaves after like 5 years and they didn't win a natty, but he gave it the old college try, I don't think you're holding that against him. If he leaves after 2, then, that's poppycock, as the kids from the 1960s would
Yes,
say.
the kids offsay that. Yes, to J.R. Brown's point, you would have, if Rule gets that gig, would you have to worry about Jeff Nixon? They all work together, sure. Like another name that ties into all this is Elijah Robinson. You forget about it. He went to Penn State. He was injured most of his college football career, but Elijah, as you've seen, large man. He was a major recruit back in the mid 2000s, but he had, I want to say, it was knee issues or something that ended his career at Penn State. So like there are more ties to it, especially if Rule gets involved, than I think we're willing to admit. If this was, I'd be way more worried if this was after next year. I'd say that if the timing had worked out differently, and then Fran, this year goes the way we think this year might, and then next year's another big year, I'd be worried. But Fran, hey, what did Fran say last year? And this is the other part. Like, he was the only assistant coach in the country that had Jimmy Sexton, the super agent, as his agent. Well, that guy's the mover. Like, out of all of this, Jimmy Sexton is the mover and shaker in college football when it comes to coaching searches and coaches moving around. So if Jimmy specifically wants Fran's name in the conversation somewhere, his name will get in the conversation. Now, I'd say let's set that part aside. To what you said, Jordan, like, what did he think was going to happen on Monday? Like, what did he think nobody was going to ask about it? And I'd say Javon asked it as gently as it could have been asked. And then, like, the press conference ended, and like he went up to him, and they had a little back and forth or whatever after the whole thing was over. Like, that was asked as gently as it could have been asked. The Ricky Collins stuff was asked, I think, as gently as it could have been asked. He was just out of a bye week. He was oddly on edge, it felt like, about both of those things, where he had a chance to completely control the narrative of it by just approaching it differently.
Now, know what though? Here's how good Fran is. I think you and I can both agree, when you don't ask the tough questions, people who are consuming your content call you out for it.
Right.
I saw just as much, if not more, people on Fran's side. You don't see that. There were people, a ton of fans, who were like, that's a Bush League question. Why are all these media trying to gotcha their head coaches? Like, you don't see that. And that's how good this guy is. That's how reeled in he has everybody. I've legitimately, and I don't scour every single college football fan base's pressers, I don't think you see that. Fans generally want those questions asked and they want them answered.
Right.
He's got people eating out of the palm of his hand, and that's why it would just be the biggest knife in the back turn at 360 if he were to leave.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't love the answer. Do you want to go to the Pitt game though, or did you have any final thoughts on that?
I'd say the whole thing too. It literally, like, he could have said, like, I'm absolutely not going to Penn State. He could have said, screw you guys, I am going to Penn State. It didn't matter what he said. Like, nothing any coach says in the middle of the season means anything. Like, the answer didn't matter in the grand scheme of things. I give Rule credit. Like, Rule said something to the effect of, it's like, hey, you guys know, like, I'm a Penn State alum. I love Penn State. I will always love Penn State. Right now, I've got a 5-1 football team or whatever it is. I don't talk about other jobs during the season. And that's how we're going to leave it. And it was respectful. And I thought that was a nice way to handle it. I think it was less about the words and more about the edge. He was just on edge about it, which seemed strange. And he was futzing with the football, the whole presser, which, I do like to futz with the football, but the whole thing was just, it was weird. The whole thing was weird.
Yeah.
It was weird.
It was odd. Thank you for the update, Gavendo. There was an ESPN bet boost for J-Rod or Vlad to hit a home run. I did not take it. Okay. I realized that now that I'm not consumed by sports media 24/7, I'm not doing as good of a job following the ACC. Hand up, sorry.
Right.
So I watched the highlights, the condensed highlights for Mason Heinschel's 2 starts with Pitt.
Okay.
And here's kind of what I saw. He's obviously the freshman, the new guy. He blew out BC, and then they got that win over a Florida State team that is just baffling. Beat Alabama and then lose to everybody in the ACC.
Mm-hmm.
With Heinschel, he's good. Don't get me wrong. I think there are things about him that a good team can exploit. And is Syracuse a good defense? I think it's fair to say not at this moment.
Yeah.
Heinschel, when I was watching him, and if anybody in the chat has thoughts on him, I'd love to hear those. The first thing I noticed watching him, he loves to just run straight ahead. He doesn't really get caught running back and forth behind the line of scrimmage, but if there's a gap in the line, he will take off. I am curious what Elijah Robinson and the Syracuse defense will do to combat that, because it's not like they're getting sacks anyway.
I know what they would have done last year, Jordan. They would have put Fadil Diggs just kind of like lurking. Yep. They don't have that this year. They just have a big hole. Like exactly. Fadil would have been the answer to that question last year, and that they have not shown an answer to that question this year.
Yeah, so I'm wondering, can you let Heinschel just stand and throw? The next thing I noticed about him, and it was the highlights, so I didn't, see every incompletion. A lot of his big plays, he's just looking straight ahead and throwing it into a soft spot over the middle. It's not like Syracuse's secondary is locked down, and he did make some throws to the boundary, but a lot of his big plays, it's just you find a guy over the middle, and he doesn't have a super quick release either. It's a weird looking release, unless I'm reading too much into it, but when I was watching him throw, something felt very college quarterback. So there are things about Heinschel, the freshman who's played 2 games, that are very easy to identify. It's just, what can they do about it? The thing that scares me about Pitt, Desmond Reed is a monster. Mm-hmm. He's basically just a receiver since he came back, at least in the last game. They're really doing a good job putting him at wideout, and he's finding ways to get open, and they're having Turner in the backfield, who's very good. So, like, if Reed just wreaks havoc, he's a former running back. The team has trouble tackling. I think he's just going to give them issues. But I think he's not doing anything that, with a whole entire bye week to watch him, a good defensive coordinator and defense couldn't take away from him.
Yeah, and that's the two sides of the coin here on this one, because the question for Syracuse is like, well, okay, do you have that? Because this year the defense has not been good, and you talk about like runs up the middle, receivers crossing the middle. Syracuse has gotten annihilated by that kind of stuff this year. I do find, as we have to make this about Syracuse fans as well a little bit, because if this game starts going wrong, and wrong for Syracuse offensively, and this guy Heinschel is having a big day, it's more than a little ironic, right, that the freshman quarterback Heinschel just took over for a guy who was the starting quarterback, who was previously a backup quarterback for an SEC power team. I just can't think of another school in this game that has the exact same scenario going. I don't know. It's eluding me, Jordan, on what that might be, but
I'm trying to think of the other team in this game, and then I can narrow it down.
I just, I don't want to belabor the Collins and Carney thing again. We don't know anything about Carney other than his high school numbers or whatever. He's played 1 play. It was a touchdown. 1 play. But Jordan doesn't want to talk about this at all.
No.
But here's what I'm thinking. I Cuse fans are going to, like, if Collins has a bad first half and they're down, like, he's going to get booed off the field. I mean, they will, but it'll be him. And I don't think, I think Collins is going the route in this game, barring injury regardless. But, man, it could get uncomfortable in that dome. It's a homecoming weekend. Like, people are kind of, basketball's approaching. Like, we're kind of at that, like, is it basketball season inflection point of the year? This is a really important game for, you talk about bowl and whatever. This is an important game, I feel like, for fan interest, people locking in the rest of the way or not.
Yeah, Halloween's a very easy game to miss, too.
Yeah, unless you want to dress up like Belichick and his Jordan.
Yeah, that'd be something, and that's a winnable game too.
They're
Kev
terrible.
has something. People were mad about that too. That Fran said he basically gave the team the bye week off. It's I don't know if that's standard or not, but what I do know is this team just needed a hard reset anyway. So I don't hate him telling them take some time and like go hang out. I also think there's no way he gave them the week off as much as he might say he did.
No.
There's no way. Even if he says he did, maybe he gave them one less practice and told him go catch a movie.
Yeah, because you talk about bye weeks. Like some years you need rest, and of course I'm sure they got rest this year. And this is what Ricky Collins said last night, right? In his interview stuff. Like he needed the week to get back in rhythm with the receivers because he is a different player than Steve Angeli. He said it. Like, hey, I throw a different ball. We see different things. We approach it different ways. So the rhythm Steve had doesn't necessarily translate because I'm doing it differently. I'd say if you want hope for the rest of the year, that's the main hope, right? That Ricky's talent here in this week, they found something that can translate. And good luck. It's a Pitt team who you've struggled against for 2 decades now. You're on the road at Georgia Tech, is really good next week. Like you're in a tough spot on the schedule here, and there's not besides Carolina, there's not a soft landing spot here to get your feet under you if you're Collins. That's you had to do it in the bye week if you were going to do it.
I think the spread I saw was either 10.5. I haven't actually seen it lately, which is a new era for me. Would you take them to cover 10.5?
Would I take them to cover 10.5?
If anybody in the chat has a more recent one, I think I checked this past weekend. I haven't seen it since. I believe it was 10.5 or maybe 11.5.
I take them to cover 10.5. Wow.
At first I want to say yes, and then I think about it more, and it's just
my initial thought is no. It's a good line.
They're good at those lines.
Yeah, they're good. Vegas. Yeah, Vegas. Hey, Jordan, should we try to bring on a guest? We have I pinned a link at the top of the chat here that you can join us here, and I said Vegas. We've got somebody on the line that is in Vegas right now, Jordan. How about that? It's our guy Nick Aquino, and hopefully when I hit this button, this will work. Nick, welcome to the show. Hang on, I gotta hit one more button here.
I see something.
There we are. Did this work, Nick? Are you there? Oh wait, hang on. It would help even more if I unmuted you. Now you're there, Nick. How are you?
How you doing, Brian? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. I think we can all hear each other. Can Jordan not hear?
I can't.
Can Jordan not hear Nick?
I can't hear Jordan either, so
Oh.
there's an issue with that.
Okay. I thought I had clicked the button to make those things happen. Well, you can talk to me, Nick, for a minute. Jordan will sit here awkwardly while
my ears.
Well, he can't hear you, and while I
So a couple
scour
of
the
things,
settings
Brian,
here.
that I want to touch on real quick.
I clicked
if
the
you
button
don't
that
mind.
said guests can hear each other. You both are listed as guests. You should hear each other. All right, go ahead, Nick. I'm interrupting.
Did you happen to hear Dan Mullen's press conference yesterday when asked about the Penn State job?
I did not know.
His response was much more clear and blunt, and he came right out and said, "I will be the coach of UNLV next year."
Okay. Yeah, like I like Matt Rule's response. Of the ones I heard, I like that one the best. To be like, hey, it's flattering. I like Penn State, but it's just not something I talk about during the year. Like, because I don't believe
that was more politically correct for sure.
Well,
yes,
I'd say it's also the most believable because, like, Dan Mullen can say that, and honestly, I don't think that Penn State would go after Dan Mullen, so it's probably easy for him to say. But, I don't believe any coaches in the middle of the year when it comes to jobs that they're not working at right now. So just don't say anything definitive, right?
And the other thing I wanted to ask you guys, did you see the interview with Luke Carney last night that they did after practice? I think Ashley Wiskowski was the one that interviewed him. Anyway.
Yeah, I caught part of that.
So what I took from that was the kid's confidence level is off the charts. He carries himself much more confidently than Ricky does, and he's built 10 times better than Ricky is. Did you see the size of his neck? He looks like a linebacker.
Yeah, he's a big.
All that saying is he's not your typical freshman. right? When you play 55 games in high school and win 4 state championships, you have experience.
Yeah, and
He's played more football snaps than Ricky has.
Well, certainly recently, with Ricky on the bench. But yeah, I'd say, and again, well, obviously the level of competition isn't comparable, but we'll see where it goes. But yeah, I like Luke. I've never seen him play realistically, save for like a second or two. I like him, but yeah, we'll see where it all goes from that. All right, Nick, appreciate the call. Thanks so much for hopping on. We'll bring.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Absolutely.
And one more thing.
Thank you, Nick. In theory, Jordan.
Cuse outsiders.
Yes, that Cuse outsiders. There we go. That could be a thing. All right, let's bring. There we go. There goes Nick. So you couldn't hear Nick. There's a button here.
I heard him on the stream. I
saw
listened.
that.
I'll give my takeaways now.
I enjoyed
agree,
you pretending to hear at the beginning of the conversation. That was.
Yeah, I hope I was doing a good job guessing what my reaction should be.
You were actually nodding in about the right spot, which was kind of impressive. And I think nodding was the correct reaction.
Carney does have a swagger to him. That is what I took from that interview. And, some guys have it, some guys don't. What you'll see a lot from the guys Fran Brown recruits, his confidence just rubs off on them. And I think he likes confident players. Like, you remember Jimmy Gregg, he said in an interview that they were going to win a national championship, which it's even funnier because if you do that, the punter is probably not going to have that much involvement.
Yeah.
But that's a Fran Brown guy. And I don't think Carney's going to get in, but that's the response you give to kind of tell the coach, hey, look, I'm not going to say anything stupid, but if you call my number, I'm ready, man. Give me a chance.
Yeah. I just don't think. I think now that we made it through this bye week, I don't think this gets revisited for a few weeks. I also don't think Fran's not a change the quarterback during the game for searching for momentum guy. Think of the Pittsburgh game last year. Like, think of how long he left McCord in that game. I think he played. I mean, maybe a series at the end. He was out. Like, he had the worst game. He had a worse game in that game last year than he could have possibly considered. Like, I'm sure if Kyle McCord had a nightmare about his worst football game ever before that game, it wasn't as bad as what happened in that game.
Yeah.
And it was over, and he just left him in. Now, I get that was McCord and was the whole thing. And that was last year. Like, you take McCord out of the game, there would have been no controversy. No, just like, oh, that was merciful. Just get him out. This time, it would create immediate controversy. It completely submarines Collins, probably forever, as part of the Syracuse program. And the one thing that Fran and the coaches know that we don't know is, like, do they think Carney can do it? Like, right now? Like, I know they like him. I know they think he can do it, big picture, long term. I don't know if they think they can do it right now. Fran's still going about this trying to, he wants to beat Pittsburgh. He's not concerned about setting up Carney's career or anything. He wants to beat Pittsburgh.
And this is the one. This is the one where after you lose, you can think about it. But this is still if you want to make a bowl game, this is, let's go back to a cliche topic. This is as close to a must-win game as you can get in the middle of a football season.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at this, especially the 3 road games remaining. We talked about this last week, Georgia Tech, Miami, and Notre Dame. Okay, good luck on that. This is the hardest of your home games remaining with Carolina and BC to follow. So if you're going to do it, get to 6. Like, you got to figure a way through this one somehow. I don't exactly know how. Well, we should do this here, Jordan, as we change topics.
Okay. There's one more thing I do want to say before I'm going to try. Did we agree pineapple peach next?
Yeah, I think you save.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you save
too late.
Raspberry lemon till the end.
You brought up the Pitt game last year.
Too late. I don't think that was a decisive.
No, because it's lightly carbonated, so you don't want to open it and not try it.
Okay, never mind.
So you brought up something. I don't know. Sorry, I'm talking over you. My bad. You don't know if it really will matter, but Fran Brown's a guy who we saw it last year. He's just looking for motivation.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any more motivation for a team this year than Fran just getting they got dogged by Pitt last year. They got punked. They got embarrassed. They got smoked. They got outplayed. They got out schemed. They got out hustled. They got out everything.
It was that Thursday night too? Was that a Thursday game?
I think so.
Yeah, it was
so.
Maybe it was just like everyone's watching it. It was just like, holy crap.
This is a gut check spot. And this is where a bye week, you can lose a little bit of steam. I know it's a new year with a new team. I also know Fran Brown has that game on his mind. There's no chance he doesn't. That's one he probably has circled going into the season because they embarrassed this team last year. And realistically, they probably kept them out of the ACC title game. I think if the math all worked out right, it was those other two games winning against BC or Stanford wouldn't have got them in. I think if they had just beat Pitt, maybe.
Is that,
I don't remember the math, but point being, this is an important game.
Yeah, they got to. I don't say they got to win it. All right, Jordan's going in kombucha 2. Kombucha 1, better than expected. Jordan made weird faces sniffing the first one. No weird faces drinking it. He did not make a weird face sniffing the second one. He made a really, really perplexing face after he took a sip.
This is way more tart than tart cherry. Like, it was too tart.
What are
I
the
wasn't
fruits?
vibing with it. Pineapple peach. The pineapple's aggressive.
That's not a tart combination. That is sweet on sweet.
Okay, second taste is good.
All right.
I went 8-2-5-8 the first time. I think
Yep.
I'll go like, we're going down. I think I'll go like 7-1-5-4.
Okay. Bigger difference on the kombucha scale than the regular. It's squished together in the middle of the regular drink scale. So
Yeah.
it will be the wild cherry versus raspberry lemon, or lemon raspberry, whatever it is, to decide things. All right. So basketball. I wrote this today in my weekly column on Syracuse on SI. Go check it out if you haven't. Clicks. We like clicks. We're big on clicks. Click. Just click it. Read it if you feel like it. The whole premise of my column, and I am a longtime voter in the ACC women's basketball preseason poll, is that, like, while preseason polls never actually matter, like, especially in college basketball, they couldn't matter less now. Syracuse, the men were 9th, the women were 13th. It's just like, that tells me nothing about this year's team. I opened up the list to vote for the women's all-league team, and you had to pick 10 and put them in order. And I'm like, it's like, all right, I'm going to go down and get Hannah Hidalgo for Notre Dame. She's the best returning player in the league. And then I just start looking at the list. I'm like, who are these people? Like, I didn't know who most of the people were. And I'm not a voter in the men's, but I imagine it's the same with the portal. And you don't know what anybody's eligibility was. And then, Duke's got 8 million freshmen. Like, Duke's good. The rest of the league exists. Beyond that, I need to see some basketball before I have any clue what's going to happen this year.
I think that's fair. Were you surprised at 9th? I was more surprised to go back and look last year and see, oh yeah, they were 11th last year, another 9th. Because yes, last year's team underachieved based on what fans thought, but I think a lot of people are looking at this team as if it's majorly improved, and that is with the benefit of hindsight. Actually having seen our guy Jaquan Carlos play.
Yeah.
So actually having seen Eddie Lampkin try to get around the court. Those problems are hypothetically fixed, but nothing is guaranteed.
Yeah, I mean, this is one where, like, we're all gun shy after last year, right? I thought Syracuse would have been preseason lower last year. It's so weird, or this year. I mean, it's so weird with the polls because, like, back in the day, it was the first thing you did was you looked at, all right, how many returning starters are there? And now so few teams are bringing back everybody. The Orange are bringing back 2 people of any consequence. Now, they might be your 2 best players. JJ got preseason all-second team, and we all keep assuming that Donnie's going to go from here to here, and he might have to go to, I can't reach that high for them to be legit good this year. What people got to understand, like, the way these things are voted is, like, we're neck deep in Syracuse. There's 18 teams in the league, and the people that cover the other ones have not been on top of. Maybe they were aware of Nate George because he was in the conference. Like, they don't know what a William Kyle is. They don't know what's going on. They've heard Kyan Anthony's coming here. Like, just like we don't know. Like, I don't know what's going on at NC State. Like, I know Duke's got like 19 people named Boozer now. I don't know what's going on at Wake Forest. Like,
I know Louisville had 2 players on the first team.
yeah, I'm like, oh, I guess they're good. Interesting. Like, is Clemson good? Shefflin's a football player now. Like, I don't know what's going on in this league. And this is what stinks because so much gets decided when it comes to the tournament now and how your league does in November. Like, nobody knows who any of the teams are. Like, we're watching football. The rosters have changed completely. It is such a weird vibe that, again, you can't learn a ton out of exhibition games either. But I think this year, watching those, and the first one's a week and a half out in Buffalo, that you got to get a sense of it. Now, that said, the first exhibition game last year, Jaquan Carlos had like 78 assists. So, grain of salt. But we can.
Oh my gosh!
Remember, didn't he double it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
I forgot about that, dude. Everybody thought he was.
Like, back in the day, and he turned out to be an excellent player. James Sutherland had like a year and a half of great basketball at Syracuse, but he was like freshman and sophomore year. He was the best player in the history of exhibition basketball. He was windmilling dunks and making 30-foot threes and like this guy. And then by his senior year, he was that guy. So take it with a grain of salt. But like, this is a group that I need to literally see them on the court together. Just after last year, we got to do a height check, and I just need to see them run up and down to make sure the parts look right together, because last year it was a puzzle that didn't fit.
Oh gosh, dude! And Eddie was throwing flashy passes every
Going
game,
like
and everyone
he's going like
everyone
this.
thought he was Jokic.
He's cooking burgers. He's between the legs. I mean, they're like, this team's great. Then the season started, and it's just like it was iso ball for JJ, and then he gets hurt, and then it was just like nothing.
Oh my God.
Just nothing happened for a month and a half. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the team's going to be, but enjoy the preseason polls. I'd say some people are like, well, don't do them or don't look at them. No, do them. They're great fun. Like, it's fun, but just know it for what it is. They are meaningless fun, but they are fun. It's just, whet your appetite for hoops coming.
So I trust about this team that Nate George will be able to set the table as well as Carlos, but also present enough of a scoring threat.
Yes.
To, not be one-dimensional. If you do give Carlos credit for one thing, he was a high-energy hustle guy on defense. I hope Nate George has that motor. He certainly has the size. You know what you're going to get from JJ. He was talking a lot about needing to be that defensive stalwart. And if he improves on defense...
Because he's not been a good defender.
Yeah, that's big. If Kings, they're talking like Kings is going to shoot as well as Chris Bell, which I think is interesting because Tyler Betsy, the more I think about it, I feel like he's your Chris Bell type player, except he's going to do other things. But they talk about his shot.
Like he's aware of the rest of the game.
Yeah, but he's supposed to be a knockdown shooter, but I think he can do a little more. But so Donnie, if we get the Donnie we were getting early last season, if Syracuse does like double, okay. And then William Kyle, you're getting athleticism, and you just hope that he's big and strong enough against the big guys. I think a lot of what you're getting from the starting five. What I'm going to be watching for most in those early games that you touched on, I want to feel confident that Sadiq and Kyan are ready to play college basketball within a couple games. Game
4 Vegas. I mean, it's really early where they got just major games.
Yeah, and like even regardless of the schedule, I don't want it to be halfway through the season. Okay, they're comfortable in college. I want them to be taking major steps up halfway through the season to where you're thinking, oh, I mean, they could probably start like definitely, next year, definitely. This year, like they could probably start if somebody got hurt. I think that's going to be the big thing because I know he's really good. I don't know what is Sadiq White going to do?
Yeah, my hope with him, the hope with him is I assume both will come off the bench to start. The hope is that Sadiq is a defensive difference maker off the bench and Kyan is an offensive difference maker off the bench. It's game 5 of the season is freaking Houston. Game 6 is Kansas. So, like, you're going to get tested early. Game 7 is question mark out there, and game 8 is Tennessee. Like, that stretch of 4 games is as brutal an early season stretch that realistically I can recall in anything resembling recent history in Syracuse basketball scheduling. So, to me, it's not about winning those games. Yeah, you don't want to dump them all, but like you got to go out there. You got to look the part, and part of that is having 3 games in 3 days. You need depth. You need those guys. You need to have some juice. You need to be able to get up and down the court. And it's sort of the tangent of like football this week with Pittsburgh, how this could determine where people are at interest-wise the rest of the year. That, to your point, like, yeah, Cayenne and Sadiq will get better over the year, but will it be too late? Fans' interest, if they go out to Vegas and get just stomped, that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of Thanksgiving week. Like, those games are going to be available to watch. Like, you're going into a holiday there. Football's going into its last game. Like, you potentially, like, to go glass, like, almost all the way empty, you could go out there and get thrashed 3 times in a row, and just people are like, oh, no. And then you come back to Tennessee in the Dome, and Tennessee's been really good the last few years. I don't know what their level's going to be yet this year, but, I have faith in their program. Like, you can have a 4-game stretch there where you just get worked, and the fan base takes, like, a final turn against Red, and regardless of what the team has, it's just so negative, it's a problem. So, to your point, Jordan, like, they got to be ready to go for the sake of us, so they don't have just emptiness in the Dome or whatever's worse, negativity or empty chairs in the Dome, starting in early December.
Kev brought up a good point, and you just kind of mentioned it. And I am looking at the chat, even if you're talking about Steve Angeli transferring to Toledo. That's incredible. And I do agree, Gavendo. You put money against them and they would win. I think you were talking about Cuse there. That feels like that, unless I'm misunderstanding. But Kev said the coaches need to be able to coach.
Yeah.
What do you need to see from Autry this season? Everybody's so distracted by all the shiny new toys and the new roster, the freshmen, the experience, the clear upgrades, the stylistic changes. I don't hear or see a lot of people thinking about the story last year, which was, the roster construction wasn't that good, but people weren't happy with the substitution patterns and certain adjustments that were being made too late. When they were going to zone, and it just kind of would derail momentum. Chris Bell being in and out when fans wanted him out and in. What do you want to see from Red this year? Because he's kind of off the hook, but I don't think it's going to be like that if they do poorly in that opening stretch that you talked about.
Right, and when it comes to his legit future, it's going to be on the wins and the losses. But like, what do I want to see from his opening first ever press conference? He told us very specifically what kind of basketball he wanted to play. We're 2 years in, we haven't really seen it. Like the first year, they won 20 games, but that was on the back of Judah Mintz and what he was doing, and because of that, it went into the style that Judah played, which, as Jim Boeheim often did over the years, you play to the talents of your best player, so that made sense that year. Last year's roster was just a grease fire, and I couldn't even begin to tell you what they were trying to do most of the time. This year, I think they have the right type of pieces to do what Red said he wanted to do going back 2.5 years ago when he got the job. I want to see them play basketball like that just to see if it works. Because I still have no idea if that style would work or not. Like, he wants to go 10, 11, 12 deep, go all this stuff, running all over the place, doing all this stuff. I don't know if that works in this day and age. I have no idea. But I don't know that it doesn't work because they've never gotten to do it with a cast of characters that was capable of it. So I think, like, if this is Red saying, hey, this is me, this is what I want to do, I want to see it happen, so at least now we're judging him based on what he is telling us to judge him on, where up to this point it hasn't been that.
That's fair. I also, just talking about Red, the tournament's the goal. I do think it's funny how much you're seeing now this is a tournament team Are people forgetting that unless something incredible happens this year with the committee or with the conference, you pretty much have to be a top 4 or 5 team in the
Yeah.
ACC to make the tourney. So I think it's easier to say they're a tournament team than it is to say they're going to finish top 5 in the ACC, but that's almost a prerequisite at this point.
Right. Like if you went back 5, 6, 7 years ago and you'd said Syracuse was preseason 9th in the ACC and said Syracuse was a tournament team, you'd be like, all right. That's probably, I don't know if the ACC is getting 9, but it's close enough to the margin of error. They're like, okay, yeah, sure. The ACC has done terrible in every metric that exists now for several years in a row. To your point that, like, yeah, do you believe Syracuse is going to be 4th in the league? Now, the Orange do have those crazy games early. If they pick a couple of those games early somehow, then you don't have to win as many. But, yeah, like 9th in the league in the ACC this year is not getting you in the tournament. So, for the meaninglessness of preseason rankings, you are going to have to, even if people are saying you're a tournament team, they've also said you're not. Whether they knew what they were saying or not, they said 9th in the league. That's not a tournament team. They're going to have to outperform expectations and do it in the league. And again, this league, like, Duke's good. Everyone else is in attendance. Like, I don't know. Like, Louisville's supposed to be good again. I have no idea. Carolina's been so all over the joint recently. Like, Clemson's been good. I don't know. This league is such a collection of I don't know this year that, like, if Syracuse comes out of Vegas, win, lose, or otherwise, but looks right, I think, man, even if they lose all those games, but they maybe win one, you come out of Vegas, but you're like, all right, they went toe-to-toe with Houston and Kansas. That looks right. Then I'd feel really good going into a league that's probably not as good as those two teams. So that would be the thought. But I think we're going to learn a lot early in those games of what can translate down the line.
Yeah. Do you remember where Miami was in the poll? Because Miami's a team that figures to be good eventually. I want to say Virginia was 8th, if I recall. Virginia's a team who, they should be good, but
are they good?
Virginia could be anything every year. And based on how they play basketball, a few lucky bounces could literally determine their season because they play such close games. So there's so many teams that you just don't know. And it feels like a cop-out, but it's just how it is now more than ever. It's not like you have any continuity. You truly don't know. And everybody, as you alluded to at those media polls, is just guessing.
Totally.
And there's a reason that they are so biased. And I don't even think it's intentional. It's because you actually know those guys. So you're like, okay, well, this guy's good. He's probably first team because you haven't seen Florida State's new shooting guard play basketball.
I will say this, though. In the women's basketball poll, I am biased intentionally because somebody's got to balance out those Carolina people. Like,
a deeper bench.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching, Kev. I don't know about a deeper bench. I'm interested. I almost asked you at one point, Brian, Luke Fennell. Like, what's up with that guy?
Like,
Are we
going to
see Luke Fennell?
I'm excited. I like the idea of him. Like, 6'6" point guard that can shoot it. Jordan's going in for the last kombucha as we transition out of our basketball talk. As you did hear, I did hear the light carbonation. That had the most distinct fizz when you pop the top.
By the way, Luke Fennell is a hard mullet guy. I think I'm getting there. I think I've given up on my hair, and I'm just going to go mullet.
Mullet? All right.
Yeah, I need to get rid of some of this, like this.
Well, yeah.
But I'm committing.
Because mullet, because right now that your party is drifting to the front.
Yeah.
You need to keep the party in the back if you're going to do a proper mullet to properly do that. All right, Jordan's third kombucha. It's a raspberry lemon. It made a nice sound when he opened it. He looks not angry.
It's mild. It might be because this is the third one I've had. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of there. It doesn't have an aggressive flavor. I don't think raspberry lemon has an aggressive flavor because those two flavors balance each other out so well.
Yeah.
I'd almost rather be a little more offended like I was with the pineapple peach just because there's some, it shows some heart.
I want my kombucha to piss me off.
This one's not showing any heart. San Diego Q's, thank you for showing up. I appreciate it. That one's probably, I don't even remember what I gave the other ones. It's probably right in the middle. I'll give it like a
I think you went 8274, 8272, something like that.
7472. I'm in like the 75, 73 with this. I might go 73, even if it's lower, just because it doesn't have any heart. It's like it makes all the right passes. It can hit the 18-footer, but it doesn't have that step back three.
It's not stretching the defense.
And it's not getting the fans out of their seats. It makes winning plays, but you don't remember them. They don't show up in the condensed highlight video. I'll go like 7-3, like 7-3. I think I'm gonna go weird here. So I'm gonna go 7-3 and I'm gonna go like 5-5. I think it's a worse kombucha, but a better drink.
Okay. It's just you're not getting kombucha vibes. I see. All right, so here's the real question. Jordan, previously not a kombucha guy, has sampled 3 different kombuchas throughout the show tonight. An upset, a shocking upset. The tart cherry ends up coming up on top.
It was the first one, and I do wonder how that plays into things.
Yeah, I thought it was going to play the other way. Like, you'd test it and just be, like, offended. He's going back for another sip.
It's still the best one.
Okay,
it's
confirmation sip. All right, so here's the question. As somebody that has not previously been a kombucha guy, as you're taking another round here, will you buy kombucha again? Or is this one and done?
And I did not buy them at all. So here's what happened.
Okay. Kombucha story time.
I've mentioned it before. I care for my mom, who just buys a bunch of stuff.
Yes.
And so she bought all of these because she's always looking for new drinks. She's just up there just trying drinks.
Okay.
If she did a review channel, it would be the most diverse review channel of all time. She's on the Purple Powerade. I don't know. I can't think of the word.
Bandwagon?
But she's loving the Purple
Train?
Powerade. Yeah.
All right.
That'll work. Train's a good one. So she bought these, and I was like, do you know what kombucha is? And she's like, no. And I told her, like, it's not something you drink to enjoy. It's good for you. And so she's had these sitting in her fridge for like 2 months now, and she won't try them because I've terrified her.
Okay.
So I told her, I'm going to drink them on my podcast, and then you can try them after so you don't have to just open it. I also like, what's so good about probiotics? It's good for your gut health. I hear that's
Gut
good.
health.
Like live probiotics scares me. I don't want anything
Gut
live.
health. No, you need it. Gut health.
It's like I'm eating worms. That's how it makes me
You
feel.
need prebiotics, probiotics. You can't get by on amateur biotics these days. You got to go professional with your biotics. See,
I could drink this.
Yeah, you're gonna. I'd say you probably don't want to drink too much. You don't want to like overwhelm yourself with biotics.
Yeah, I think I
might
might
stick
have
to the serving
drank
size.
too much. It's kind of carbon. Oh no. This has organic caffeine in it.
Jordan is now up until the morning.
No, dude. I have to wake up like at normal people time now. Oh no, dude. I didn't know this had caffeine.
Oh man.
This one has green coffee bean extract?
They're going out of their way for the caffeine in that one.
No, dude, no.
What's our percentage daily value of the caffeine? Was that listed?
I don't think that's a thing.
Is
There's
that
no
a thing?
percent daily value. No.
For caffeine? All right.
Caffeine also doesn't affect me.
Well,
I can
does it have a
drink
milligram
like,
amount? Or is it given an amount? Can we compare it to a cup of coffee
one of them had 66 milligrams organic caffeine.
in the whole bottle?
Unlike
That's
radio
about a
people
cup. I think that's give or take a cup of coffee.
Yeah, Ryan. So I got in between like 10 and 11 when I was in radio. I have to be in and clocked in by 8. So it's a real adjustment for me.
Jordan's a real human.
Yeah, it's crazy. That stuff's fine. It says, where does it? I think it said less than 0.5% alcohol. So that means it's greater than 0.0%
Well,
alcohol.
I think that's technically, there's fermentation, I think, that goes in the beverage, right? I think that kombucha's got something fermented going on. The fermentation process is, by the nature of it, will create some alcohol, I think.
Drink more, pull an all-nighter. I
Just
can't.
chug all
Thursdays when
30.
people are in the office, and I got like a dog vet adventure, little nail cut. It's exciting. So you had show names, Brian.
All
Enough
right, well-
about me and my kombucha. I'm sorry to have wasted your time, but I hope you all enjoyed the ride.
Kombucha was very important here. I will continue not to drink it. So there's many options here. We could just not name the show. The channel has a name, as we know. It's on the screen right there, the 315 with Brian Higgins. And then on the other side of the screen, as you can all see, it says, and Jordan Capozzi, Jordan with his stuffed candy corn CC. So we could just keep rolling like this. Or you and I have spent a lot of time trying to create like social media names that like get grabbed by the algorithm. Like that get grabbed. And sometimes simpler, I feel, can be better. And sometimes completely on the nose could be the best of all. And we like alliteration. So I'm going to lob out the Syracuse Sports SEO show, where we just tell Google that we are trying to optimize their search engine.
Syracuse Sports SEO
Or
show?
SOE show, yes. Search SEO, yes. Syracuse
SEO.
Sports, yes. Syracuse Sports SEO show. It's a terrible name, but it could be on the nose just enough to get to randomly attract people to our program, which is the whole goal of this thing.
Is SEO good for SEO?
I don't know. That's why it's very on the nose.
Syracuse Sports is also already being used in a show title. I worry it's very close.
I mean,
there's the Syracuse Sports podcast, and then we're the Syracuse Sports SEO show. Is that too close?
We could even put in the word spectacular somewhere and get a fifth S.
Ooh.
Then we could just call ourselves 5S.
5S would be really funny, to refer to it as 5S.
Which feels like a service National Grid might offer for something. I don't know what. Oh yeah, my 5S it's working real good.
How would you brand Syracuse Sports SEO show?
I don't know. I hadn't done a lot of thought on this other than I found a lot of things that started with S's, and I was looking at Google stuff earlier. So yeah, that's really as far as I've made it down this pathway.
I think we could table it. I don't hate it, but it's long.
It's very
There's
long.
Not a lot of
That's
punch.
why
not a lot of punch.
Well, that's why we could call it like the 4 or 5S, which would make no sense on its own, which could be amusing in its own right. But then just make sure all of the other words are in every like Google search variety thing to draw people in. The 315 after
Chew?
dark.
Is that meant to be Cuse Crew, or are we doing Cuse Chew? Because I am putting a lot of food in this.
Yeah.
I like 315 After Dark. I love After Dark.
That's true.
Like calling something After Dark.
How many times in those late night football post games last year did I say the phrase After Dark?
Oh yeah. It reminds me there was this old show on ABC called Dating in the Dark, but they'd always say dating in the dark.
Yeah,
and
you got to like the 315 After Dark. You got to
I could get down with 315 After Dark.
I do like things after dark, yes.
But then again, like, are we picking that up?
Yeah, I don't know. It also doesn't need to have a name, which is the other part. We could also just continue to debate a name every week and never pick one, which could be also funny in its own right.
Yeah, I mean, you ready for this? You want to be real gimmicky? You're trying to get SEO.
Yeah.
We could call this the transfer portal. A little bit edgy, a little bit SEO.
Yeah, as the purveyor of Portal Watch for many
right?
Yeah, the transfer portal. Yeah,
that might be too on the nose because I'm not trying to like throw shots anywhere. That's not my intention. But I also love like
not
a
everybody
loose
transfers for bad reasons.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
Or even like the Syracuse Sports transfer portal.
Okay, yeah.
That could be something to consider.
No, I think we're getting somewhere. I think we're off on. I think we're off on a good path here.
Oh, I didn't realize chew meant talking. Okay, Forever Orange Girl. Okay.
Well, you can chew the fat. That's talking. You know, you're chewing the fat.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, gabbing. I kind of like the portal.
Ooh. Instead of Syracuse chew, what about orange and blue chew?
It depends if the sponsorship comes through. I'd say if you are a sponsor out there, we'll name the show whatever the hell you want if you toss us a few bucks. Like some can't be bought. We're not those people. We can be bought. We can quite easily be bought.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm drinking kombucha, like I'll drink pretty much anything.
Yeah, Jordan's just free range.
Come on, Line and Kugel. Come on, Line and Kugel.
Yeah. What do I have? I got a roll of tape. I don't know. I don't got anything good here to. Come on, cup of water. It's not going well. All right.
I think we made progress.
I think so. I like the portal situation. All right. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. We got football this weekend. I'll be back post-game show on Saturday after the game. We'll hear what Fran and the guys have to say after what should be an intriguing game against Pitt. And Jordan will be back here next Wednesday, 8 o'clock, unless we change the name or time or place of the show again, or if YouTube crashes again right as we're trying to start the show. We'll find out. All right, man. Catch you next week.
I'll catch you.